Hello there, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the public. I am Tatiana Arnaud. I am your city engineer, and this presentation is regarding the amendment to Agreement A-8332 with SPI for the groundwater desalter improvement project. The recommendation is that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to first execute a first amendment to Agreement A-8332 with Separation Processes Incorporated SPI in the amount of $263,702 for a new not to exceed contract amount of $1,063,556 for additional design work required for the groundwater desalter improvement project, project number PW 2144. Or otherwise known as 216508, and second, to approve a budget appropriation transfer in the amount of $263,702 from the Water Operations Fund to the Water Capital Project number 216508. So the original scope of work with SPI for the groundwater desalter project pretty much included solutions to operational issues that included submerging the RO membranes, hydraulic restrictions, valves and actuators, air release valves, and getting some traffic rated grading in key areas. We did hold several meetings with operators as part of the development of the preliminary design report. This is a pretty typical process that we take with any consultants as we're working with, especially our utilities. We want to make sure that our operators are involved in key milestones for projects to make sure that whatever it is that both the engineers and the consultants that the engineers are working with are proposing makes sense for the operators who actually have to basically, obviously operate the plant and use these things on a day-to-day basis. So we definitely make sure that we involve them as much as possible. And so this preliminary design report basically identified that there were some shortfalls within the reverse osmosis membrane clean in place process. And so as a result of that, they're looking at including the automation of a clean in place process, replacement of aged equipment and tanks, basically potentially increasing some solution and neutralization tank capacity. And there was also some SCADA and integration shortfalls identified as well. So by adding the scope of work that I just mentioned, we are actually proactively addressing these very important operational issues and prioritizing the replacement of equipment that has reached the end of its useful life. So this has happened as a result of the consulting coming out, working with the operators and really looking at how the system is functioning now and what we could do better to make sure that it continues to function well in the future. And the idea is that we would actually be using less staff resources by automating some of this, right? So this is actually a win-win situation across the board. As far as the financial impact goes, the original agreement amount was hovering right under $800,000. This amendment will increase it by $263,000 for a total of just over $1 million. Currently, it has a budget balance of $47,000, and we're asking for a budget appropriation transfer in the amount of $263,702 in order to provide sufficient funds to execute this amendment. The other $47,000 is primarily being used for project management staff time. That does conclude the short presentation. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.